Did you know that India is the largest recipient of global remittances? It accounts for a fifth of global remittances. Did you know that post 2020 there's been a very sharp uptick in the inward remittances? It was 125 billion last year and is now projected to grow to 134 billion this year. Hello and welcome to another edition of Capital Calculus. I am your host Anil Padmanabhan. Recently, the World Bank put out its Global Remittances Tracker. As I explained in the introduction, there were no surprises and India topped the charts. Yet, there are two big takeaways. One, there's a significant uptick in inward remittances in the post-COVID era. Second, bulk of these accruals are no longer accruing from the Gulf countries. Instead, they're coming in from UK, Europe and North America. The obvious question is why? Further, the big question is whether these trend in inward remittances are telling us something about the new India story. To answer this and more, we spoke to Rituparna Chakraborty. She is the co-founder of TeamLease. TeamLease is India's leading recruitment and human resources company. I began by asking Rituparna whether she was surprised at the big jump in inward remittances.
No, I think I'm not even surprised. There are various reasons that one can really account for that. One, of course, is that I think the way India's economic recovery has been since COVID, and the way we are seeing that, unlike a lot of other countries, there is some kind of a stability that one kind of sees. I think somewhere some of these remittances is essentially in response to the kind of recovery that we are seeing. And also, one has to, it's an obvious fact that there is a lot of Indians who are outside of India. They're working outside. Whether it's in the United States, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Australia, whether it's in the Middle East. So we do have a lot of Indians who've gone out and they are moving up even in terms of their, how do I put it? The skill bracket. Their ability to earn and their earning capacity are going up because they're able to kind of leverage some of these economies and the upsides with it. And they would want to come up, somehow send these money to support their family members or even invest in India, because India is a great now growth story. Everybody wants to invest in India. And hence the Indian diaspora wants to essentially take advantage of it for anyone else. I think the technology and the ease of transactions, which has made remittances so much easier, I think that could be one. And I think somewhere after COVID, I guess there was this huge emotional angle where the ones who could not come back home or could not support, they went all out in terms of financially support their families back home, or, even if it's in terms of the community. I think these are some of the primary reasons. I'm sure there could be more. Even some of the government policies, which are extremely favorable now to kind of towards encouraging these remittances. I think all of the above are reasons for it.
But Rituparna, fair enough, all these points that you made, but the global economy is plumbing lows. So it's a little counterintuitive that our personnel are able to send back so much of money where the environment is so inclement.
True, but I think if one may look back, yes, the global economy, and I think like we're hearing stories, but I guess the kind of skills that this Indian diaspora possessed, and because of which they went abroad and they were sought after in these countries, are not something which is easily substitutable if one looks at it. And I think the Indian diaspora overseas has been extremely resilient. They have been able to, dig deep, create deeper roots. Their ability, I think, um, given their skills, they, in any case, have been able to move up the value chains, whether it's in technology, whether it's in healthcare and finance, in most of these countries. So I feel that in spite of the challenges, their ability to kind of save, grow, earn, invest is much higher, and hence their ability to have disposable income to remit back to India is much higher, in spite of what's happening. And I think that's definitely one of the reasons. And like I said, the employment angle is very important. Um, you will see Indians in some of the high growth sectors all over the world, where there is a demand for high skilled talent, niche talent. So, in spite of the challenges in the economies in some of these Indian employees or these skilled employees from India are required. So, they are not easy to let go of, which I think is an additional reason that, in spite of whatever is happening, you're seeing the flow of income. And but then the other aspect is that Indian government has leveraged technology in such a way that it's become so much easier for people to make remittances to India. So that could be an India advantage, because of which also there has been a spike in terms of remittances.
Just want to pick up the last point. So the ease of making these remittances, is it something to do with the growing global footprint of UPI?
Well, yes, I think the low-cost nature and the expansion of UPI could definitely be a contributing factor, given the high level of remittances. I think if we talk about cost efficiency, I think UPI is known for its cost-effective nature, right? I mean, it's allowing individuals to transfer within the country so much easily. I mean, as a matter of fact, my sister and brother-in-law this time were in India. They were able to link their own bank accounts, and they were freely able to make payments in India using UPI. I mean, I don't think we as Indians can ever think of doing that, right? If we go outside of India. Unknowingly, this becomes it's a factor through which you will see more and more money coming in, just because it became so much easier for them. And also the lower transaction fees, better exchange rate. I think some of them also add to, the remittances coming in, and even the convenience and accessibility. I mean, that's exactly what, like, my own sister and brother-in-law experienced, right? I mean, it's kind of seamless. It's very user-friendly. It is not cluttered. And I think automatically the people's propensity to be able to expend is increasing. The overall ecosystem is just so beautifully done that I think one should not even be surprised that why suddenly. Like, I'm sure that whatever their intention were to spend in India this time, they spend far more than that, just because of the ease of it, right? And that benefits the country as well.
Rituparna, you earlier in your opening remarks, you mentioned the skill factor, that how there is a growing presence of skilled personnel in our expats abroad. In fact, the World Bank argues similarly in its report, and they track remittances. So,
Right.
does this reflect in the TeamLease recruitment profiles which you are facilitating?
So first and foremost, TeamLease, we do not send any of the temp employees outside of India. So I don't think TeamLease has a direct footprint or a contribution. However, a lot of the talents which are now domestically groomed and given opportunities are the ones essentially taking the step towards moving abroad, right? I mean, whether through process of immigrations or just because they did well in India, and some of these employers want them to go overseas and continue doing a good job. I think indirectly, as we develop the Indian employment skilling ecosystem, it indirectly definitely benefits whatever's going on. So from that perspective, I think there's no direct contribution of TeamLease, but yes, of course, there is an indirect contribution, I guess.
So, is TeamLease seeing an overall skill set improvement in India? Because, like you said, eventually these are the people who go abroad, the more talented lot among them. But overall, are you seeing a lift in skills in this country?
If you ask me a question which is an absolute term, definitely, Anil, there has been an increase in the in skill sets, and what I'm noticing right now, and somewhere we have to give a due share of gratitude towards this wave of, or the talk around, sometimes even the wariness around artificial intelligence or automation. What is happening is that there is a constant structural shift in terms of skills and people's aspirations for skills. Because if you feel that the skill I possess is expendable and can easily become redundant, then I am going to try harder to kind of move up. And then, of course, the question is, do I have the ecosystem in India where I can actually, if I have the aspiration, get myself those skills? I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, there has been incremental progress at each step. Are we absolutely there where we ought to be? Definitely not. I mean, there is a lot more to be done. As a matter of fact, a lot more to be done. The share of lot more to be done is much more than what we have done. But there has been incremental progress. And hence, you are also seeing that the nature of talent now that's going out of India, right? If we were exporting talent, there is a clear change in that as well. That earlier there was migrant workers constituted a certain type of skill sets. Today, that skill set is fast changing. So the demand for Indian workers is no more limited to a certain pocket, but it's become much, much more richer people and for workers with much enhanced skills.
Interesting, because an RBI survey of remittances, pretty recent, 2021, confirms this trend. This is actually dated info, I'm sure it's more improved today. A shift away from GCC, which is the normal blue-collar work bank, and as opposed to Europe. Now, big countries which are seeing a share growth in remittances is Europe, mainly UK, US, of course, and Singapore. So it seems to reflect what you just said, right?
Absolutely. I mean, earlier people used to migrate. I mean, we all know that. I mean, people's earlier it was, actually, there are two reasons for it. And let me try and make some sense out of it. Two things have happened. One, of course, is the quality and of skill sets of, in general, the average youth has definitely been going up, right? The second thing which has happened, of course, is the kind of profile which earlier used to go to the Middle East, for example, in hordes. I mean, these guys were from villages, they had no local opportunities. They themselves were unskilled, but they still were looking for a better livelihood. So most of these people are the ones who, in spite of all the ordeals and a lot of discrimination, a lot of exploitation, would still felt that they should just go to the Middle East and they learn more money, right? But interestingly, those kind of jobs now are available in plenty now in India. And even the per capita income in India has been increasing. So to some extent, the lure of the Middle East also has gotten diminished, because rather than going to these countries, now if we migrate and move domestically, like, any kid wants to move or any youth wants to move from UP to Bangalore, they'll probably end up making more money, right, than moving, I feel, at least these days. And then all the effort and all the hardship that they have to go through to go to Middle East. So I think that's on account of the economic progress that India has made domestically as a country. And then, of course, the different schemes of Make in India, which is creating more opportunities, the PLIs, and so on and so forth. And then the other aspect is that the average skill sets of Indian is definitely going up day by day because of, and in comparison to what is happening across the world, definitely India is relatively better with that. And hence there is a demand for Indian talent. So India is able to provide the skill, they're able to provide the youth ability to work. And thirdly, I think the kind of volumes that are required is available in India. So I guess that's probably one of the reasons that you can account for this gradual shift away from the Middle East to the more affluent countries where the jobs are more skilled, better paying, so on and so forth.
From what Rituparna has told us so far, it is clear that the Indian economy now is becoming an attractive destination for foreign investment. This is more than apparent with the returning NRIs as well as increasing foreign investment. The obvious question then is whether India has gone from a situation of brain drain to brain gain.
So indeed, the migration of skilled personnel from India has undergone a huge transformative shift, from the traditional notion of brain drain to a more dynamic concept, which is resembling more of a revolving door. And of course, that's why the discussions on brain gain. So the historically brain drain, of course, was when our best of the youth are going there. However, what has happened is that there we are seeing a pattern of return migration, and largely fueled by what? I mean, the booming Indian economy, expanding job markets. There are so many entrepreneurial opportunities. Can I tell you something? Just the digital stack or the India stack that India has built has become such a huge attraction for much of these talent who probably for them last 20 years have been in the US or in the UK, but they want to now come back because this is an opportunity that they just don't want to miss out because their countries were so far are yet to witness some of these transformations. So especially in technology research, we are seeing that there is a much desired interest to come back to India. And honestly, it's a win-win for India because they've gone and seen scale in some of these. They have the much needed experience, which India and Indian corporates, given that we are now looking at a next huge leap in the country, needs. And then there's incentives also aligned for them. So it's essentially they are doing it by choice. So they're going and learning all the skill sets that we in India probably do not have today. And then they're wanting to come, leverage those skill set, make use of the opportunities ecosystem India is providing to them and make something great out of it, which everyone wins from. So yes, definitely a brain gain for us.
India then has come a full circle. From an era of brain drain, it has moved into a phase of brain gain. At the same time, the domestic economy is creating greater opportunity for blue-collar workers within the country than outside. White-collar talent, however, continues to be a big draw for foreign shows. But the biggest takeaway is that the growth of the Indian economy in recent years has created an unprecedented opportunity for everyone. As they say, a rising tide raises all boats. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to StratNewsGlobal on YouTube. Hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any updates. And please do share your thoughts, ideas and suggestions with us. I'm available on Twitter at Capital Calculus. I'll be back next week with another episode. Till then, stay safe.